Oh, hello there. Yes, well, sort of sliding our way into midweek, aren't we? Be nice to be a bit cooler, if nothing else. Yes. Anyway, great news in the marketplace of ideas. We have two new parties being launched. We've got Rupert Lowe's, what are they called? That Restore Britain, another R1, and Ben Habib's Advance UK. Yes, because they're going to reclaim. Oh no, hang on, that's another party, isn't it? No, what they're going to do is they're going to reform. No, not that one. No. Anyway, they're going to set themselves up as the non-reform parties, which is useful. That was announced by everyone's favourite Englishman, Friar Calvin Robinson. Yes, very, very English bloke, isn't he? And as he put it, is I remember remain a member of UKIP. Yes, another one. But I wish these chaps, the best of luck. We need all the help we can in this fight to reclaim, no, not them, Britain, rule Britannia. Yes, indeed. Having stuff from God's right-hand man there. Yeah, you might think of sort of Calvin Robinson as this kind of mixed race guy, which a lot of people do. But there was an interesting thing yesterday from a great friend of the channel, Connor Tomlinson, who was managing to unpack that whole what exactly it is to be English, and he's come up with a cunning scientific plan, which I think is well worth running with. And it was this. I love this. English people happen to be white. Yeah, it's like people that happen to be black. You may remember that from, I know that was the late 1980s, or people that happen to be gay. It's just a kind of accidental thing that they come up with. They are an ethnic group distinct from others. Bear that one in mind for what's coming. There are non-white English people because they have one English parent. They have an inherited English identity. Yes, bear that in mind, okay? None of this is a moral judgment of people of other ethnicities. It's just a statement of fact. Oh, yes, science, there you go. Why is this a problem? Well, yes, indeed, various people in his comments underneath were making it a problem. But it's an interesting notion, isn't it, that Englishness is most definitely a thing which Connor Excel and loads of others like Carl Benjamin and the rest of them simply can't describe, but it's definitely a thing. And it's inherited by a parent. It's what we call scientifically a dominant allele. Yes, some genes are dominant and others are recessive, but Englishness is a distinct genetic group that is dominant. So, luckily for people like, Nigel Farage, his kids, even though they've got a German mother, will be English because the Englishness they will inherit from him. Do you see how it works? And that's science. You can argue with that, but yes, you see how it works? And that way, Friar Calvin, of course, is English because one of his parents was, English. That's the way it works. Which got me thinking yesterday, because we had a whole massive series, or a massive whole series, one might say, of tweets from Matt Goodwin, who was basically having some sort of, seizure about the fact that lots and lots of people in the UK only have one white English parent. So here we go. In 2003, 18.6% of all births in England and Wales were to mothers not born in the UK. The very latest data release date is nearly doubled to 34%, yes. But of course, if a certain percentage of those people are indeed, good, stout, white English blokes, then that's okay, because their kids will be English, because they'll inherit it down the paternal line. So it's not a problem, Matt, is it? So we don't need to worry about that, do we? Maybe. Yes, not convinced about any of this stuff whatsoever. We do have a lot of these kind of sort of people falling over themselves in the media. I did have to smile again at this from Spiked, because they are well known as being very, very sensible working class people themselves. Very, very English, obviously. As privileged Brits chant, Brits, you notice, death to the IDF at Glastonbury, a young Brit, in the IDF... Oh, that's a bit strange. Was murdered by Hamas. Oh, God, that's a bit strange. I wonder where that was. Maybe it was Croydon. His bravery heaps shame on the Glasgow bigots, says Brendan O'Neill. Yes, you can now have British Israeli people. That's good, isn't it? Yes. I don't know how English he is, though. Maybe Connor or Brendan could explain that one to me, because I would have thought that somebody that was living in a different country and serving in their armed forces, that the last bleeding thing that they are is English. I'm sorry, but no. because I don't actually think that that level of Englishness is inherited down the genetic line, because, otherwise, surely you wouldn't necessarily be Jewish, would you? I don't know. It depends on what it is on your mother's side. You see, suddenly the whole gene thing is starting to look a bit dodgy, isn't it? But, that would just be me being foolish about, knowing things, isn't it? Yes, which brings us up to the whole notion of these right-wing parties and how brilliant they are and accomplished at everything, because Reform have managed to get themselves into something of a tizzy in certain, almost all of the local councils that they run. I mean, I did have to smile at this from Zia Yusuf, who isn't English because both his parents came here from Sri Lanka, I think it was, and he's not married and doesn't have any kids. So, there's no possibility, basically, of him not being English, according to Connor. Make of that what you will. Who really runs Britain? Well, it's pretty rich people's here, isn't it? A coup has taken place in Warwickshire. Oh my God, I wonder if they're armed members of the British IDF. Maybe, where the CEO of the council has effectively declared themselves the monarch of the county. Oh no! Very, very powerful people setting themselves up on their own. Gosh, that'd be awful, wouldn't it? She, it's a her, has refused point blank in writing to take down the pride flag and told our council leader the decision as to which flags to fly is hers alone. She said she will also hoist the Ukrainian flag, irrespective of instructions from elected officials. She is a former director of the Race Equality Partnership, so therefore a bad one. Probably not even English, because those kind of jobs are inherited down the maternal line or something, and rakes in a bigger salary than the PN. Yeah, there you go. You see, you can't be good at your job and have a good salary. That would be stupid, wouldn't it, Zia? Right. Bureaucrats like these have been undermining the will of the people. The will of the people for decades. Yes, unlike the Tories, Reform will not simply surrender. We will fight for the people. Yes. Now, what this is about basically is a flag. Yes, indeed, they are still going on about flags. Potholes? No, flags. Oh, right, okay. Social care? No, flags. Oh, what about closing the library then? Oh, no, flags. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Anyway, this woman, who undoubtedly is at the top of her game and is highly paid and is presumably a very, very effective administrator, because she's reached that level, has decided that it's her job, which, I think she's probably entitled to do, to decide what flags to fly. And that's kind of the way that that's worked. And these people are having a real hissy fit over the fact that they can't get their own way. Over a flag. A flag. Think about that. A flag. We're going to melt over a flag. Yeah? But who is the person who is the elected representative of the people? Well, it's this guy, the 18-year-old. Yes, indeed, him. George Finch, who's 18. Now, I don't know about you, okay? I mean, speaking as somebody who does work with a lot of young people, I'm sorry, but there is part of me that just won't take stuff from very young people, okay? I'm very nice in my job, and I'm very, very accommodating and understanding and everything. But when I get told things by experts, like people like Connor, or George here, taking his A-levels, that I have to do things because they know best, it almost instantaneously makes me want to dig my heels in. Sorry, but that's a kind of just a regular thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah? And here we have this 18-year-old who nobody seems to have any problems running the council because, yet another member of Reform decided after 3.5 weeks that actually they didn't really fancy it very much because, they were a bit ill. Think about all that debate we're having about people pretending to be ill. Well, here, for some bizarre reason, we now have an 18-year-old running a county council, and it's absolutely fine, and he's to be admired for it. I hope he knows more science than Connor. I hope both of his parents, for God's sake, were English, because I wouldn't want any diluted DNA to be in there and for him to make stupid decisions, especially about flags, because after all, I think we as a country need to take a stand about flags. I mean, we could take a stand about austerity or late period capitalism making all of us, very, very much more immiserated, and just generally the way that everything is making us ill. But let's make it flags, shall we? And then let's argue about whether or not somebody is suitably English, because I'm sorry, Connor, I'm sorry, mate, but you really don't think that certain people are English. You sure as hell, I'm convinced, don't think that Zia Yusuf could ever be counted as English no matter what. It's just politically convenient to come out with this stuff. And it's tosh. It's tosh what Reform come out with, because they're an incompetent group of people. They have been led to believe, they believe their own propaganda, they're using their own supply, one might say, that somehow the people that actually know how to run things are desperately incompetent and they can just come in and sort it out. It's just common sense, isn't it? You know, I listen to Mike in the morning on Talk TV. It's just common sense. That's all that's needed. It's all that's needed. It's just a bit of common sense, isn't it? Yeah, you can sit in Wetherspoons and shout about it. And yet, oddly, the world is very, very much more complicated. And now we're going to see all of these splits on the right. And I hope there are loads and loads and loads of them, because I think we need a more pluralistic democracy. Yes. Still, only a few more years till the next general election. I'm sure Reform will manage to get loads and loads of proper English people to do the correct thing. After all, it's in their blood, isn't it? Anyway, do have a glorious, glorious cooler day. Do enjoy the shenanigans around these people, because if nothing else, they're fascinating to watch, aren't they? Yeah. Watching the kiddies at play. And the problem is, of course, that they're given all of this airtime, all of this depth in the British media. Yeah, and we're told that they're the people that we need to look up to. Nah, do have a good one.